Hey guys, just want to give you guys a bit of a heads up on kind of like how this episode is structured out so you're not thrown off. So basically, the first half of this episode is essentially the roundtable interviews that was done with the Dragonball Supercast. Pretty fun, pretty informative. The first half being with Monica Rial, she plays Bulma, Vic Mignogna, he plays Broly, Ian Sinclair, who plays Whis, and Sonny Strait, who plays Bardock. The second half of the interview consists of Sean Shamel, who plays Goku, Chris Sabat playing Vegeta, and Jason Douglas playing Beerus. Pretty informative interview. Me and one other person, we were just asking, just questions about the characters, and without them necessarily spoiling the movie. So if you haven't seen haven't seen the Dragon Ball Super Broly movie, pretty good informative interview. If you have seen it, still informative, still fun to listen to. And then after that, we round out the episode with me, D, and DJ Sue reviewing the movie as normal. So hope you guys enjoy the episode and keep supporting us. Thanks.
Perfect.
What would you say is the defining quality of your respective characters? I know a few of you voice multiple, and how do those qualities help hurt them in this film?
I would say Bardock's defining quality is honor.
Ooh. That's a good one.
Yeah.
How does it help you in this, or how does it apply to this movie?
Because he's able to see what's wrong and what needs to be right, and he just does the best he can with it.
I like it. What about you?
Whis has a playful curiosity. He finds the whole Saiyans battling thing to just be the funniest little thing to watch. To him, it's a bunch of children having a slap fight, so he's just entertained by it. And he's just curious about all these things from Earth that are so alien to him that he loves so much. And as it pertains to this movie, I would say that he is along for the ride and enjoying the view as much as the audience is.
As far as Bulma, I would say that ever since the Future Trunks arc, my motivation for Bulma, or her driving force, is hope. What was written on the side of the time machine for Future Bulma. And so I feel like in this particular film, hope plays a big part of it, because not only is she hoping that by going to this location with her friends that they will, be safe and she can somehow aid them. I think that in a way she's hoping that everything works out for Broly. She's one of those people that is very hopeful and very caring of other people and has that very big maternal quality. And so, yeah, I feel like it plays a big role in the movie.
I've played Broly for a long time, but this is a new Broly. And this character is Toriyama's vision for the role, which is infinitely more developed than he ever was before. And I was really thrilled with everything that they brought to this character, and the character is actually kind of sympathetic. I think the audience is really going to feel for this character and why he is the way he is, and I just after doing a character whose entire vocabulary can be limited to Kakarot, it was really neat to do this film and do a couple of scenes where you actually find out more about him and his background. There's some really moving moments. I think the fans are going to love everything action-oriented about this movie, but they're also going to really enjoy the story and the background of the characters, too.
Oh, yeah. Come for the story. Stay for the amazing action.
In animation.
You don't get food?
No, they ordered us for just for us and nobody ever ate it.
Dwayne, did you want to go ahead and ask your question?
Yeah, this is kind of for all of y'all guys. So I mean, all y'all have been in the game of voice acting in anime for so long, and I'm pretty sure y'all guys seen, anime go from.
Well, Monica's just starting, to be fair. Monica, this is only Monica's second anime.
Okay, my bad. But just observing where anime has gone from being this kind of obscure thing to being this mainstream thing, and you guys are being part of Dragon Ball Z, which is like a huge property, but seeing that you guys are at like a red carpet for this property and stuff, what has that been like, seeing the fan reaction and seeing like the huge amount of fan bases going nuts for this? I guess in particular for this movie, especially for a character like Broly that's actually going to be part of Dragon Ball canon now and such, as we see it.
It just seems to get bigger every year. I mentioned in the last interview that 20 years ago, I thought this would last about 2 years. Wow. And now it's grown into this giant monster, and it's amazing. And it's mostly the fans that have kept it going this whole time.
I think for Vic and I know we started at about the same time back in Houston, and we saw, like, when anime kind of took a dip in the early 2000s or mid-2000s, we felt it. One of the studios that we worked for shut its doors. So for us to see this resurgence and to see, not just Dragon Ball, but anime as a whole become more mainstream and more widely accepted, that's a huge deal. It's like kind of like a phoenix coming from the flames. Like we thought that maybe it was on its last legs, and here we are, and everybody's so stoked, and I think that this is only going to fuel the fire even more.
It's been crazy to see how. It used to be, as an anime fan, you would have your small group of anime fan friends, and they would be the people that you would talk to about it. And they would be the ones who know. And your other jock friends would make fun of you for going home and watching all them cartoons. And now it's you can wear your Dragon Ball shirts with pride. I wear Dragon Ball shirts out to work all the time.
We had Goku in the Macy's parade.
Oh man, that was a huge deal.
Yeah.
And I just, it's funny that Monica just said what she said, because I was thinking of the same thing. I have such a vivid memory of a convention that Monica and I were at years ago it was Anime Expo, I think. And we were signing next to each other. And there was a line, as far as the eye could see, autograph line waiting for us. And I looked at Monica and we looked at each other and we said, can you even believe this? Like, how did this happen? When we started, it was just this weird little niche thing. I didn't even know what they did with it after they recorded it. They must sell it because they'd have to be able to make money to make more. But
I
didn't even know. But it was, and it was an actor getting a chance to act, and so we did it. But I am daily blown away and humbled by the chance to be a part of it. Yeah, so grateful that something that you kind of step into having no idea where it's ever going to end up, and to see how it has grown. And Dragon Ball is in many ways largely responsible, I think, for bringing anime into the mainstream.
Yeah, especially when it got on Cartoon Network.
Right, when the shows like Dragon Ball and Pokemon and a couple of those handful of anime that kind of ushered it into the mainstream, and now just about everybody knows what anime is, or they've seen some of it. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Cool.
As in, Hayden, did you want to ask the question?
Yeah. So the new film, I was doing some research earlier. The new film is going to reportedly explore the history of the Saiyan. Would you say that this history is more for the fans or to draw in new fans of the series? If that question makes sense.
That's an interesting question. I don't think it's designed to draw in new fans. I think it's Akira Toriyama just expressing himself the cool way he always does. I mean, there's an emotional resonance with everything he does, and you can tell when he's not a part of it, and he is definitely a part of this.
It feels like a natural. I mean, it's that thing that we always wanted to see. We all wanted to have, what really happened, and how did that all go down. We've all wanted it as fans, and here it is. And it's good. It's all solid reasoning, and why all that happened is really good. I think if any of the movies were to bring in new fans, I'd say Battle of Gods. Because
yeah.
that one, minimal fighting, a lot of funny, and a lot of friends and everything.
I think introducing all the characters.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Whereas in Resurrection F, expanded that, brought in the fight, brought in more of the people. My mom, for example, saw Battle of Gods, and then when she saw Resurrection F, said, "Wait, is this show about fighting?"
Yeah.
She didn't recognize that after the first one. Yeah, so that second one was to bring in the fighting. The third one, Broly is a classic Dragon Ball movie, and it's done so well. It is the Dragon Ball movie in the way that, like, you wanted another one. You wanted another one that still felt like you got the feeling you got when you watched, Fusion Reborn. You wanted to get these old feelings, and it's absolutely that.
Yeah, I think that it will inevitably bring new fans to the property. Like, certainly there's going to be people that are going to be dragged to the movie by their friends who love Dragon Ball, and they're going to be like, what is this? And I'm sure it'll create new fans, but I really think that especially the first half of the movie was created for the fans that exist.
Yeah.
Because, it fills in a lot of holes, things that we weren't sure about, and trying to be as vague as possible.
So hard.
But I really think that, I think this is a Akira Toriyama's way of saying, hey, fans, thanks for being patient. Here's this. I'm giving you this, and then let me tell you this story in my voice.
Yeah, I agree.
Thank you. And Dwayne, go ahead and ask your question.
So I guess this is more towards Vic. I know a couple years ago, me and my guys, we interviewed you at Otakon, and we were kind of talking about how, like, when you voice Broly, you're saying Kakarot so many times and stuff. So now that you have this new movie, and it seems, going by the trailers, it seems as though there's a bit of layer and nuance to Broly. Without spoiling it. Without spoiling it, anything and stuff. I know you mentioned earlier that this was a little bit different than normal. So, like, for you, what adjustments did you have to make playing Broly this time around compared to before?
Well, again, this is a completely new Broly. So, his motivations and his backstory and the attitudes of the character are different. And it's not the old Broly, and that was very important. In fact, early on, when I first heard that there was going to be a Broly movie, I was kind of impatiently waiting for the call because I didn't get one for a while, and I thought, oh no, this is a new Broly. What if I'm not going to get to do it? So I was really, really excited when they finally brought me in to do it, because I loved the character. I just always wanted there to be kind of more to him. And I want to stress again the sympathy and the empathy that I think people are going to feel for the character in a way that they never did before. He's not just this big, dumb, muscular fighting machine. There is a real motivation and a real story behind it all that I think people are really going to enjoy.
He was a force of nature, and now I feel he's a really well-rounded character.
Yeah. And everything that people love about Dragon Ball is in this movie in spades. Like, the fighting scenes are so dynamic and so well executed, and all the voices, all the characters, everybody just really brings their A game. I think we understand how important this is to so many people.
Cool. Hayden, and go ahead and ask your question.
Yeah, so I grew up with Dragon Ball Z. I need to preface my question with that. I was, I think, 8 or 9 when the Cell Games saga came out, and I just remember being absolutely blown away by the emotion of the Goku and Gohan relationship there, and the stakes that were involved, and how terrifying Cell was. I mean, that was really the story arc that got me into Dragon Ball Z. I hadn't seen anything of it before, but I felt like the Cell saga and the Cell Game sagas really captured the emotion of Dragon Ball Z better than almost any other arc I've seen. How well do you think that this new, because you said it was Toriyama's thank you to fans. I mean, as you were reading the lines, did you feel that that gratitude? Did you feel the emotion in that script?
Oh, 100%.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, we can't talk too much about it because we will end up giving away plot points, which would be bad. But yeah, I think that both visually in the animation itself and in the script is very apparent that is what it is. And I think that the Japanese cast, when we heard Nidal-san and the creators, when we were at New York Comic-Con, they kept telling us, oh, you're going to cry, you're going to cry, you're going to cry. And at that point, I didn't really understand what they meant by that. And once I watched the film, I was like, I get it now. I get it. It's not a cry. It's not a bad cry. But it definitely, you probably will tear up a little bit. I know I did.
Dragon Ball movie.
I know. I teared up in a Dragon Ball movie.
That's something.
It does.
Dwayne, did you have another question for us?
Yeah, this is more towards Sonny for him playing Bardock and such. So, the character of Bardock, we've seen different variations of how he's being played. So I guess in this movie, how did you go about? I mean, I know they kind of do a little bit more background and mainly on the Saiyan, like you said, Saiyans as a whole. But like, what was it like, kind of like going into actually playing Bardock and seeing his relationship with Goku? Like, I guess your thoughts, so to speak, on how you approach that character.
Well, I mean, it is a different story, and I think that it's the story that Akira Toriyama really wanted to tell with him. But he's basically the same guy, just if that guy had a different life experience. And so it was interesting to play it that way because I'm like, okay, what in his old voice would still be and what would be changed? Is there a bit of softening sometimes depending on who he's talking to, which he didn't have before. So he's a much more dynamic character.
Okay, so it's basically not as like, oh, I'm just here to save the Saiyans and that's it. Because, I mean, I'm liking the fact that we actually see Goku's mom in that interaction as well. So, I mean, did you get any lines with both of those two as well?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't want you to spoil it. I don't want you to spoil it or anything. It was just something that I noticed in the trailer, and I was like, oh, that's actually pretty interesting. They're actually showing that.
Now they know you talk to your wife.
Yeah, I mean, it is kind of cool, though, to see. It's kind of like, those video games that Bardock appeared in all these years, and he always said, I'm going to change the future. It's kind of like he did. He's like, hey, this is the fulfillment of what he wanted. This is the life he was really hoping he could have had.
Oh, cool. Cool.
Hayden, did you have a question?
Yeah. So I was at San Diego Comic-Con this last summer, and I think that was when the first trailer came out. And I just remember being blown away by the intensity and the I don't know, like it's hard to articulate how I felt, but would you describe this movie as intense and like emotionally and action wise?
Yes. Sorry, we did a big selfie.
Can you rephrase that one more time?
You caught us.
You should have answered something that had nothing to do with
about 4:45.
About 4 years, 4 or 5 years. What are they talking about?
No, give or take. Titanium's really the answer.
That's really so cute, not cute.
Oh, thank you.
So what's your question one more time?
Oh, my question?
Yeah.
Go
ahead, caller. You're at Comic-Con.
So yes, you were talking about the trailer being really, really awesome and all of that stuff, but we lost you there because then we got distracted because we are actors.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Children.
And there's Thomas on the table.
There's Thomas on the table.
I wanted to know if that intensity is consistent throughout the film. Like, are there parts where it's more intense? I mean, would you describe it as an overall intense film, or is it?
It is not. It is not a film that's just one big fight. If that's your concern, it is not. It really balances story, character development, and action really well, and it doesn't skimp on any of them.
Yeah, I think it's interesting because it's almost a film in parts, but it's very fluid parts, if that makes sense. So like the first part, you get a little something. The middle part, you get a totally different something, but it's still tied into the beginning. And the end, you get a completely different thing, but they're all tied together seamlessly. It's really brilliant from a writer's perspective, the way that they put that story together. It's a lot to cover in one movie and do it so seamlessly.
Right.
Yeah. And I don't think this is giving anything away, but when we started dubbing this film, it wasn't even done yet in Japan, which means a lot of the voice actors were literally dubbing to storyboards and still drawings and
animatics.
And to see the finished movie and go, oh my God, like so much action and so much life and movement. It was really a neat kind of an education to go, wow, that's what they start with, and then they move to this level, and this is how it ends up. It's really amazing.
Yeah, I interviewed Sean at San Diego Comic-Con this past summer, and when I had interviewed him, it was kind of tricky coming up with questions because he hadn't even read the script yet. I think is what he told me. I'd have to go back over the footage, but he told me that he hadn't completed the work on it yet. So he couldn't even answer, bare bones questions because he didn't know. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they were super secretive with it because, they didn't want the information getting out. They didn't want, which I totally respect and understand. Even when the cast went in, like most of us went in to watch the film before we dubbed it, and even then we had to go into an office at Funimation with a paper script. We could not leave the building. And so, it was very much on lockdown, which I totally get because, people are already upset that as much as shown in the trailers as it has, which we have no control over. But, for us, it's like, I get why they've been so cautious about it. It's because they don't want anything getting out and spoiling the movie.
Right.
Dwayne, you have room for one last question.
Yeah, I have been digging, mainly with, with Super and all the lore that they've been really going in. And on the movie front, I've been kind of really digging Beerus and Whis and their characters and their interactions, especially with the last arc with the Universal Tournament arc and stuff. So I guess with this movie, with Broly kind of being at the forefront, I guess, without spoiling much, like, what is their kind of interactions in regards to Broly, especially since this is a new person that's just as strong, maybe just as strong as some of the characters in the Universal Tournament arc and stuff. So, just without spoiling much, like, what is their reaction to Broly as this kind of force of nature?
I will say that Whis, man, that's a hard one not to spoil.
Beerus has his hands full.
Beerus has his hands full. That's true. You're absolutely correct. With all of the stuff that Whis does, I go back to my fun curiosity. Whis, if you told Whis that there was a riot down the street, he'd go, okay, let's go watch. And so he's always wants to be where the action is so he can observe it and has his own plans, I believe. I don't know them. As the actors, they tell me nothing. But I think he is there to... Because if there's a fight going down and his angry little monkey boys are going to fight another angry little monkey boy, he's certainly going to go watch that.
Yeah, I'm always just curious about it because I always felt that character, and like I said, him and Beerus, just even because after Battle of the Gods, it was just funny seeing Beerus like, all right, I had my fun, so I'm just gonna observe you guys now. So it's just funny seeing like, I'm pretty sure it's gonna probably be more of the same, but like you said, you guys ain't gonna spoil it, so I know. But it's just my presumption. It's just kind of funny to me. That's all. So.
I will say, if you would like to know the involvement of Whis and Broly, go check out the trailer again. And that's about as many.
Will do, sir. Thanks.
You'll know what I'm talking about when you see it. Oh, okay.
What didn't you like about Gogeta before?
Well, I just never bond. I can tell it's a kid's show, and they're just trying to find new and interesting ways to make a character power up. And to me, it seemed like kind of a contrived concept to just stick two people together. And also because when you're playing a character like that, you're sharing it with another person, so you're not, which is fine. It's not as rewarding as of just being in the character. So, and it never really blew me away, or I thought it was cooler powered up. Because to me, it's cooler when Goku goes, by himself to God mode or something like that. But then. The way they revamped Gogeta It's so amazing. I did a 180, and I'm like, I'm a bona fide Gogeta fan now. I want a T-shirt. I want an action figure. It's just the way they handled it is so cool. And his intro is so cool, and the way he fights is just off the hook. So that's kind of.
It also happens during a time where Sean and I ad-libbed a line where there was an errant, just kind of a random mouth movement, and sometimes in these Japanese animations, the character's mouth will move, and there's nothing really, there's no translation for it. But in this moment, there was an opportunity for us to go, what the? Because at this moment in the movie, it goes to a place that is just so unexpected and so fascinating and so beautiful.
I thought the animators dropped acid 3/4 of the way through the movie because it breaks through reality. Like, this is the OG Dragon Ball movie that everybody's been waiting for, yet brings things that weren't canon. So original Dragon Ball fans who love Dragon Ball when Dragon Ball, quote, wasn't cool, this is the movie they've been waiting for 20 years. And the new fans are just, their heads are going to spin. My head spun recording it, and I've been doing this a long time. My head never spins when I record. And I was just like, we had to slow things down to just see what I needed to do. I mean, Toei pulled out all the stops. You guys are going to be so thrilled. And I don't do hype, so that hopefully will validate my comments.
Dwayne, did you want to go and ask your question?
Yeah, this is for Chris, actually. So, I mean, you've been voicing Vegeta for so long. So for you, seeing Vegeta's character progression just over the years and just seeing him go from, like, this saying that's just like, yo, I hate you, Goku, and now he's, like, the reluctant, equal, so to speak, to Goku and stuff, and they have kind of like that buddy cop rivalry, so to speak. Relationship, not rivalry, but relationship, so to speak. Going into this Broly movie and stuff, and you voiced him in the other Broly movies as well, what is Vegeta's demeanor like in this movie compared to the other Broly movies that he was in?
Well, thank goodness the other Broly movies aren't canon anymore, because I was never a big fan of Vegeta's blubbering like an infant during the entire last time he saw Broly. But I do. One thing I like to point out that some fans may not get, because some fans haven't gotten all the way through the Dragon Ball Super series, is that the Vegeta you see in this movie is the Vegeta from Super. He's a highly trained, highly honed, really very experienced warrior. Same with Goku. And he's far more tempered than he ever has been in any of the other features and any of the other films. So he actually treats this battle with a lot of restraint, and I was very surprised by the way Vegeta handles this adversary, whereas he would normally want to just rip a new person's, in the past he would want to rip someone's face off and just pour salt in the wound. This is a particular case where they just show up and they're very, very confident. I like the dynamic that they have in this film as opposed to, Resurrection F, it seemed like Goku and Vegeta weren't even taking the fight seriously. It was just like, who gets to go first? Mm-hmm. In this case, they show up, and I think both of them instantly realize that they're in for they have a serious threat on their hands.
What's interesting about that, Chris, spoiler alert, they actually make a decision towards the end of the movie to kill Broly, if you think about it, because they go in for that final blow, and then Broly is saved. That I'm not going to tell you what happens there, but think about that. They had to go, you know what, this is too serious. We got to actually kill this guy. They don't say it. They don't say any of that. They just do it, and as they're doing it, Broly is saved. But that's interesting that it no longer becomes like a guy they're sparring with at some point for fun. It becomes, whoa, this guy actually has to be stopped.
Yeah,
and then they're glad that he gets saved, because Goku at the end, another spoiler, really wants to make that relationship with Broly better and continue that relationship.
Yeah, I really love the relationship that Goku and Vegeta have in this film. They do seem like two guys who have worked on the same team for a long time. There's a lot less of there's some comic elements in it at some points, but there's way less of the kind of the goofy, jealous infighting and more cooperation.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah,
and leading into the ultimate fusion, which you guys are already aware of. So
yeah.
Cool. I mean, Vegeta even has to. It's so dire that's why Vegeta agrees to do fusion, because Vegeta doesn't want any part of that. For pride and other reasons, I suppose.
Hayden, did you have a question for us?
Yeah, so I'm kind of going to piggyback off of what you guys were talking about. Goku and Vegeta, they fascinate me because there's a dichotomy there. You know, there's the happy-go-luckiness of Goku, and then there's the taking everything way too seriously-ness of Vegeta. And then when you put that together, you get this chemistry that shouldn't work but does. And I just want to know kind of how is it difficult to make that chemistry work? I mean, I know it's in the scripts, but how does that challenge you as voice actors, Chris and Sean?
Well, it's interesting because I've been joking all day. I mean, look, I'm a very fun and happy-go-lucky guy, but when I get pissed off, I turn into Vegeta. And when Chris gets pissed off, he just stays happy-go-lucky. So, Chris, when I'm in a good mood, I'm generally a lot like Goku, but if I'm not, I'm like that. And Chris and I's friendship, we were very good friends, and we definitely had, any good friendship has a lot of arguments. And we've definitely fought like Goku and Vegeta without our fists. But the fact that I'm sitting here talking to this guy, and the fact that we're still very good friends is a testament to our friendship and his personal patience with me as a giant pain in the ass. And I'm regretful, but it's because I care so much about the show and I have very strong opinions, and Chris is happy to entertain and fight me on all those opinions or agree with me, depending. So I think the only challenge would be, I think for me, you know, when you play a character for 20 years, sometimes you can have low moments. And in recent years, I've always appreciated Chris's work, but in recent years, I was just talking the other day from a purely sonic perspective on versus an acting perspective on how much I appreciate the harmonic richness from of his voice, and when it just shows up, it works so well with my voice. And I would never voice this character with any other actor playing Vegeta. And so as far as chemistry, we don't necessarily have to have chemistry to work together because really Raleigh directs me, but we do need to have chemistry to just, you know, have fun out in the world and do that. And we do have that. When Chris and I get along, we have the best time. And if we're not getting along, it's usually my fault. So, but you know, I guess I hope that answers the question. I mean, we've known each other a long time, and I guess to speak to a larger thing is, you know, people asking me about Dragon Ball. I wouldn't know any of these guys. I wouldn't have my girlfriend. I wouldn't have anything I have. These wonderful long friendships I've had, which have been challenging to me to grow and be a better person, and all the richness I've gotten out of it. You couldn't ask for a better present, no matter what show it is. You can say, what about this amazing, like, you know, famous, like, you know, I'm thinking of like some Star Wars movie or something. I don't care. This is it for me. You know, this is my family. You know, and we all are a family, and that includes trials and tribulations. You know.
I'd say the best thing about the relationship between the two of them, and what really helps me a lot, is that symbiotic relationship that they have with one another. Because I think if Vegeta ever was better than Goku, Vegeta would just be sitting in a void of nothing to do. I think he likes the fact that he's always challenged by Goku. And I think he'd be very sad if anything ever happened to him, which is why I think he would protect Goku forever. And for all the fans out there who say, man, wouldn't it be nice if Vegeta got a win? I agree. And as a Vegeta fan, and as the voice of Vegeta, I'm always frustrated when he gets robbed of another sweet victory.
He gets to go first this time.
He does at least have a really cool fight in this film. But at the same time, I think Vegeta got something better. He's gotten something out of this relationship that is better than winning, and he has become more human. He's a better father. He has a better family member. He cares for his wife. He cares for his children. And that's a better ending than you could have possibly ever expected for the Vegeta that we met at the beginning of the series.
I hope that answers your question. I know I went on a little tangent. Sorry.
Dwayne, did you have a question for us?
Yeah, this is for Jason, actually. So last interview, I talked to Ian about Whis' kind of characterization leading up to, you know, this movie and stuff. So for you, you know, you're voicing Beerus and stuff. And I guess my question is, what has been kind of your opinion on seeing the evolution of Beerus from the time of Battle of the Gods and even stuff from the show up to this point? And also, I guess, what is your opinion, without spoiling much of anything, like what is Beerus' kind of mentality of seeing somebody like Broly come into the fold compared to what he's seen before, in the show, and also Frieza and all that such stuff.
Understood. Sure. So I think when we first meet Beerus in this Dragon Ball universe, he is, and I used to talk about him as a force of nature. He certainly felt like a malevolent force at times. Sort of characterized by his power and his potential for destruction. And I think what we've seen, his evolution has been kind of to become more human in a way. I mean, he's kind of backed up from that as he's gotten to know Goku and Vegeta and Bulma and all of these humans and Saiyans that he's come to know and to some degree respect. And I think that it's caused a change for him that might be good for him personally, good for his soul, so to speak, but perhaps not so good for the holder of the office of God of Destruction. So I think it's a fascinating turn, and I think obviously there's a hunger. When you talk about Beerus, one of the primary characteristics that identify with Beerus is hunger, and we see that very obviously with the way his relationship with food, obviously, but also his desire to find a fighter that can sort of match his skill, power, and I think there's a reason he doesn't go back to sleep and go back to take a nap. I think he's hungry for something new and different and interesting, and I think that's an interesting way of, for me, it's sort of a reflection on what Akira Toriyama is trying to maybe say with Beerus, that he's not a simple character, and he represents an idea of power, which is that having absolute power is perhaps not all it's cracked up to be. And I think the idea of Beerus, to me, what's fascinating is the idea of Beerus being bored. He has everything that any of our villains, from the Dragon Ball universe have ever wanted. He has as much power as he needs. He's set. He's essentially immortal. And what more could he want? And yet we find this kind of itch that he seems to be unable to scratch. So to me, that's fascinating. And that's been the most fascinating thing about watching and playing this character as he's evolved. He's not just silly and funny when he's not being, sort of brash and impulsive. There's actually something that's going on with him, I think, internally, where he is perhaps questioning the purpose of his existence.
Cool.
Sorry.
Oh, interesting. I have never heard you explain that before. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Aiden, we have room for one last question.
Yeah, so Jason, I've got a two-part question for you. What would you say is Beerus' defining quality? You kind of touched on it, but I want you to expand maybe a little more.
Okay.
Even though you gave an amazing answer, and how do those qualities, or this defining quality, how does it help or hurt him in this film without without spoilers?
Yeah, I mean, I think it all works together. I think, I said hunger before, and I think you could also translate, that could be perceived as also curiosity. Again, about what more can there be when you already have everything, right? And how does that make him? I do think it introduces the potential for a vulnerability for him as a character, either sort of to his personal sort of health, if you will, but also to him as the holder of the office of God of Destruction of Universe 7. Because I don't know how much it helps him to sort of be, dabbling the way he does and his curiosity with Earth and Earth cuisine and the sort of the variety of sort of interesting relationships that are happening for him. It is as if when we meet him that he has not experienced those things for eons, if ever. And I don't know that once you wake up to those sensations that you can never really go back. Life can never be the same. So it's interesting to me to see what kind of destructor he will be going forward. So I do think it opens up some vulnerability, but I think that's interesting from a storytelling point of view. And I think hopefully I answered both of your questions in one breath.
Absolutely, that was great. Thank you.
That was great. Oh man, so Yeah, this Dragon Ball Broly movie was the new fucking hotness.
It touched me in a place, and I wanted it to keep touching me in that place. It really did.
This was the move. This was the.
First of all, hold on. Wait. CJ, first of all, there's three of us, so let me say my piece real quick.
Yeah. You saw it before us, so yeah, go.
No, ahead. I would see. Now you done beat me to it. See, what I was gonna say was, okay, this is 2018. Asshole DJ Sue, like coming out real quick, looking at everybody that just now seen it. Hey y'all, welcome to 2018.
Y'all, you can shut up. Because you want to get the fuck out of Japan, first off.
No,
CK.
Look, this is like I said, this is asshole side me saying it. Now that I got that out the way, I am glad that y'all got to see this movie, especially in IMAX theaters.
Well, we saw it in regular theater. We didn't see it in IMAX.
Yeah, and and look, hold on. And what I have already heard from our good friend Niger, it don't need to be in the IMAX.
Mm-hmm.
I would say this.
I believe it.
That's
debatable.
It's debatable.
I say debatable too, but I say it only for one reason, and I'm actually shocked. It's the only thing I did not like about the movie, and it's the animation.
Yeah, it's what I told. It's what I told y'all.
And before anybody says, what's wrong with the animation? Or some of you motherfuckers who, I guess, like, never seen a cartoon ever and expect every cartoon to not have no errors, I knew it. Fuck you, first of all. I hated you motherfuckers. The whole time watching the Tournament of Power, every week I had to hear one of you little non-drawn ass motherfuckers. Well, first off, the line work is bad. Fuck all of y'all. But
actually, it wasn't just to correct you real quick. It wasn't just the Tournament of Power. It was all of Dragon Ball Super. Everybody's complaining about it.
Yeah, it was very.
My dude, they wrote articles about you.
Yeah, they did. But here's my problem. I told this to Niger. That's really a problem with shonen anime in general lately.
They get lazy at some point.
I noticed that.
It's been Bleach.
I would say lazy. Slash one person is drawing it, then they give it, like, one team is drawing it, then another team is drawing it, then another team is drawing it. I know that happens a lot.
Yeah, it happens in I'm watching One Piece. If you look at early One Piece and then look at One Piece now, it varies in quality. Like every week.
Dragon Ball is very famous for motherfucking Krillin flying in the air and all of a sudden having his gi out of nowhere. It's famous for shit like that. So a lot of
Wait, are you talking about that episode?
Yes, and during the Frieza saga.
During the Frieza saga when Piccolo dipped off, Krillin flies in the air, all of a sudden his gi returned.
Oh, that being said, how you like it if you was D? That was my first full raw episode I've ever seen of Dragon Ball on the international channel, and the first thing I see is a fuck up. How do you think I feel?
Whoa! How do I feel about that? No, how about how I felt when Vegeta was talking to Dodoria, and I thought for a second that nigga had his eyes closed, but apparently his eyelids were the same color as his damn eyebrows.
What the fuck was that? And then the fun part, that one episode where his hair got brown, like for that one frame, and all of a sudden.
So here's the thing about this movie. This movie was like The Raid to me, where they took care of any plot related stuff. They took care of it up front, and then said, "Here you go, guys. Fucking action and go."
And you know what? They had the really sweet way of still character building during nothing but fight scenes, man.
Mm-hmm.
But with all that took place, I still stand by my original argument. This is how you make a Dragon Ball movie.
Yeah,
and I was talking to Niger about that. I was like, "Yo, this is going to be if this is not number one, it's going to be your number two." And the only reason I said that is because everybody is tethered to at least one Dragon Ball movie that's your shit.
I mean, I agree with you on World's Strongest.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? For me, it's World's Strongest. I know for our buddy Ty, is more than likely going to be the BoJack movie. Actually, for Niger, it's the BoJack movie. I know for you, Eris, a part of you's like, "Yo, that shit was dope." It ain't fucking with the Android movie though.
Because look, No, seriously.
Everybody's been saying shit like that. Like, even Demetrius had me rolling. He like, cooler movie.
Now, see, and that's the thing with me. All those movies, they all had like really, 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 really high moments. But if you just cut out a lot of the goofy jokes that get thrown in, I'm talking about goofy jokes from characters that really add nothing to the plot.
Yeah,
exactly.
When you cut all that crap out, the movie's fucking amazing. Then I could sit here and say that Dragon Ball has done this before. When you just take a little bit of time, go into the editing room, just cut out the characters that add nothing to the plot, then they've done this before.
But the thing about this movie that makes it great is that, like, because it's hard for me to sit there and see how anybody can like the previous Broly movies after seeing this movie, because the problem is, it's like, I think we were attached to seeing, before this movie, we were attached to seeing Broly as like the fucking Brock Lesnar of the fucking DBZ world. No fucking characterization. He just runs roughshod over stuff, screaming Kakarot every 5 minutes, and that's it. And I'm gonna put the interview ahead of this when I edit this, but like, the greatest thing that Vic Mignogna said is he loved the fact that Broly actually had some characterization.
He corrected us.
Mignogna, sorry. He actually said that he loved the fact that Broly actually has some characterization. And to be honest with you, it kind of reminded me, the way Broly and Paragus' relationship is, it reminds me of fucking Drago and his son in Creed 2 and shit, where it's like, your son really didn't want to fight, did he? He really didn't want to do this. You're just forcing him to do this shit. And that's really what it was.
That was it's this, and it was the one thing that Eris really raved about. What you raved about, Eris, it was the fact that this movie retconned and did it correctly.
Yes, it did. It's the good retcon.
It's the good retconning, basically, without even going into it. And I'm pretty sure any Dragon Ball head already fucking knows, but the whole Planet Vegeta thing went down way differently than what we got. But at the same time, just because of that shot where you saw Bardock throwing the beam at Frieza, something else happened. Something tells me there's more to that story. Because remember, we see Goku going flying away from Bardock and his mom, and then all of a sudden,
all of a sudden, it's just Bardock. Like, it's just Bardock that just says, "Fuck it, I'm gonna go out and I'm gonna go out fighting," and he just throws the fireball. I'm with you, D. I'm with you. I feel like there is a freaking side story that we're gonna get somewhere down the road where we're gonna see the retcon of the Bardock special.
And I think
I'm sorry. I take that back. We're gonna see the retcon of the Bardock special for like the third time.
But yeah, the third time, because we don't speak about the second time where everybody said,
"What?"
Like Bardock was the legendary Super Saiyan. Okay.
Oh my god! You want to talk about a fuck anyway? No, I don't even like talking about that.
Hold up! They put that character in Dragon Ball Fighters, though.
Why? Why? Fucking why?
Okay,
why? Honestly, fuck you. Why?
No, first of all, D. That Super when he does transform is pretty godlike. So I let him slide.
I mean, look, come on, look. Dragon Ball's gonna catch us somehow, man. That's why I be laughing at everybody. Man, this is stupid, man. Nobody wants to see this shit. And then Jiren gets his fucking jaw broke by Ultra Instinct Goku, and all of a sudden you slowly beating it off, watching it. I don't want to hear nobody's mouth with that shit when it comes to Dragon Ball, man. This is gonna be one thing you hook on to and you love. Speaking of which, I'm just gonna say it, because I know Chris is thinking it, and I know Eris, because BAM is the best show ever. Hey, Eris, this is the first time ever in Akira Toriyama's art style, I wanted to suck the shit out of a green titty.
Oh, yes.
I'm putting it out there.
Freaking Chilala was probably, like, Chilala was, holy crap.
She was cute.
She was adorable. She was adorable. Depending on what frame of animation you're looking at it, because one minute she was adorable, and the next minute, holy shit, she is thick.
Yo, that made us look. We're watching it in a black movie theater, and that one scene where she was arched looking out the window, everybody movie theater like, yo, for real, damn.
I think
me and Chris are cracking up. Chris at one point she does something where she does something with her suit where she's kind of expanding that shit, and you just see her breast drop a little. Chris, oh come on!
It really was. It was like, I get you got to get some fan service in there. If you're not going to get it out of Bulma, fuck it. I guess you got to get it out of her. So
no, see,
right? You had to get it out of somebody.
Now hold on, see with me, I was in the theater with with my boy Danze, right? And we're watching this, and the moment that part happened where she's like expanding her suit, I just leaned over and I said, they always got to get one, don't they?
They always get one. Always, and somebody said the same thing. Somebody just smacked their teeth like, man, come on, anime. Go ahead, man. We trying to enjoy our time, man. You ain't got to be giving us fan service and shit.
Like, you always got to give us one, don't you, anime?
That is the thing.
No.
So, yeah.
But going back to her, I've said this already 100 times, that I really felt like the animators had way too much fun drawing her. As a matter of fact, I think there was an argument between animators on how to make her look.
Actually, part of me thinks it was Akira. Poof. Archer back some more. I'm getting out of here.
We're good. You're good, right?
Akira just instant transmission into the room. Say Archer back. Like real quick. Archer back. Trust me, it's gonna pay off. We see that shit in theater. Damn, where that ass come from? But
all of a sudden again, because Akira Toriyama can do it, he instant transmutation. Does the instant transmission into your fucking theater. It's called Konnichiwa. Konnichiwa! Like, yeah, I thought so. It just disappears again.
Yeah, but the thing about this movie is that, like, every little thing that they did to build up for it and stuff, everybody had character motivations. And I know a lot of people didn't like the fact that, we didn't see Gohan. I'm like, but you didn't need... Like, that's the thing about this movie. They stripped out the necessary need to have all these extra characters who were going to get fucking, like, pal drive by Broly anyway. They just kept it to Goku and Vegeta, and that's it. Even when Piccolo had the best line. Yeah, I could help, but... And then Goku was like, hey, you can help us. And Piccolo was like, yeah, but I'll probably be useless, so no, I'm good.
I love that. I love how self-aware a lot of the secondary characters become.
Yeah, Piccolo was self-aware. He was like, I know my place. I'll probably get my ass whooped, so yeah, I'm good. Just do what you gotta do.
I want look. If the struggle is real between you two, the fuck am I gonna do?
I'm gonna do
exactly. I think somebody somebody's like, so what? I heard the girls beside us like, so Whis is just standing there, like it's Whis. Whis is going to be like, y'all done fighting? Okay, I can turn everything back. Just keep going.
No, that's the thing. That's what makes him. That's what makes Whis.
Then you got freaking Beerus on freaking babysitting duty.
Beerus, chill the whole entire movie. That's not a spoiler. He just straight up chills the entire movie.
But let's be real about this. These are two characters that if they wanted to, they could beat Brock and Broly and go back to sleep. That was the purpose. It's like, I'll let you guys handle it. You got it. So, no, you guys. Even Whis, his purpose in the movie was like, this is delightful. This is awesome. This is cool.
That's one of the greatest things. One of the things I really do like about Whis is the fact that he's like ultra powerful, his own damn self. He can do anything like it's nothing. He's a fucking angel. He can do whatever he wants to. But you never see him display almost any fucking power. And hell, even during the Tournament of Power, you saw all the different other angels, and they all had the same motivation. Y'all see this shit?
At one point, Broly is trying to fight Whis, and Whis is like, "Oh, that's fun. Yeah, that's cool. That's cool." Yeah.
I love how he's swinging at Whis, and Whis is just looking at him like, "Oh, that is cute. That is truly adorable."
But here's the thing,
hey guys, look at this. He's mad.
Now here's the best moment in the movie, bar none, and this basically defines Goku. Vegeta, who by the way showed out in this movie, is fighting Broly in Broly's in base form. The line that had me rolling, Goku is excited, jumping up down. Oh my god! And he's only in base form? I was like, this motherfucker right here. That's Goku in a nutshell right there. Excited that a guy is like literally pound for pound fighting Vegeta in base form. That's perfect Goku right there. He's just like, yo.
The reason why is because there's only two people in anime. Well, okay. okay, I can't put Jotaro in there, but there's only 2 people in anime history that is fully on I want all of the smoke right in front of me. And that's Goku. Goku and Kenshiro are the 2 niggas that are ready.
All the smoke.
all the smoke.
Except Kenshiro stares in Julia the whole time. So there.
Goku kills me because it's weird because I kind of didn't like the animation, but it was something about it where right before Broly was about to fight Goku and you just see Goku stretching, jumping up and down, ready. As weird as the animation looked at that time, I was sitting there like, that is pure Goku. Goku has a smile on his face. It ain't like one of I gotta defeat this evil. It's more of, come on, throw that punch. Whoa, that was good. Come on, keep going. Like, Goku is the only nigga you would get that wants all that smoke. That was one of the main things that everybody loved about the Tournament of Power, because when you looked at it a certain way, Goku's the bad guy. Goku's the one that's hurtful.
He wants all the smoke in the worst possible way.
And Goku's like, what? None of y'all want to fight? Goku, you gonna kill everybody. Oh, come on. Like, Goku doesn't even think with that shit, man.
The one person that had me rolling was Paragus, because let's be real about this, all right? Paragus's face, it went from, okay, base Vegeta is fighting base, Broly, and Paragus is like, oh, that's cool, apparently, Vegeta got hands. All right, cool, bet, right?
Fuck Vegeta. Fuck all of them,
but
man.
Here's what made me funny. When he went Super Saiyan, Paragus is like, the fuck is that? When did this happen? What the hell? And Frieza's like, oh yeah, that happened like 20 years ago, so just FYI.
Frieza was like, oh damn, you didn't know none of this shit. Yeah, apparently they can turn into Super Saiyan. Super Saiyan? Like, yeah, you don't know that? Oh, ain't that cute? You gonna like this fight then.
Real talk though. When he went God mode, that's when Paragus really just lost his shit. Like, the fuck, man? How's my son gonna compete to that shit?
Yo, and I even like what they did with Broly. Like, Broly, his power, because it's weird. Dragon Ball, since Super started, power has meant something different ever since Super started. It's not about how high your power level is. It's not about how intense of a fighter you are. It almost falls on who can last the longest now. That's really what it's
Fist of the North Star rules. It's like, wow, everybody has their different fucking martial arts style. It really just comes down to how much what's your stamina like? How long can you last?
Yeah. And that was the one. It was one of the things that actually separates Broly from a lot of people, because only other person we've seen that can last longer and not lose energy is 18 and 17.
Gyron.
Those are the only people we know that just like, I'm saying that it's almost endless with them. So when you see it with Broly at that type of fucking power level and at that fucking speed and all the rest of that, it is kind of insane. You know what I mean? So I kind of did like that, man. I liked we're skipping.
Frieza's petty. That's all you need to know about him in this goddamn movie. He's petty.
Frieza.
Frieza's not just petty. I like to call Frieza the Geese Howard of this story. He is just one crafty motherfucker. Thinking shit. No, hold on. Let me finish. He's one crafty motherfucker thinking that he could pull off some shit and not have it bite him in the ass.
Oh, it bites him in the ass. I'm not even going to spoil that because it's fucking hilarious how it bites him in the ass.
That scene is hilarious. He deserved every second of that too, man.
Like, oh, you want this, Frieza? Well, there you go. Have fun.
No. And then there was another scene with that when it comes to Frieza. I'm not going to mention how it happens, but Broly, look at your father! That is dying! Oh, speaking of Paragon.
Oh, that shit is hilarious in Japanese. Oh my god.
I bet it is, yo. Yo, speaking of Paragon, I'm just going to say this. For a nigga that was left on a planet with one pair of underwear, his underwear was amazingly clean when it got
pristine.
Yo, that shit was hilarious. I still there's a lot of character, like I said, there's a lot of character building they do with Broly. You understand that Broly is just he's like Michael Jackson. He's a kid in the mind. He never had
a childhood.
Yeah, he never had free will, none of that shit. And when you really think about it, the Saiyan race really doesn't have any childhoods anyway. A lot of childhood anyway. Now, that being said, I did saw something that was interesting in that movie, and you will see it when you see it, everybody. There are different Saiyans for different things, and not all of them are warriors. Mm-hmm. That's the thing that blew my mind. You got one dude over here, he's bony as shit, but he got a tail. I'm like, yo, so
when he said what his power level was,
when
he said what his power level was compared to Paragus, that really kind of exemplified. Oh, yeah, they really some of the, because it's like basically like our society. You got your scientists, you got your homemakers, you got your farmers that are Saiyans. Yep. They got tails. Everybody has a purpose, and so now everybody is cut out for that warrior life. But what really showed it was that Frieza destroying Planet Vegeta was a long time coming, because the fact that Cold transferred power to Frieza. And Frieza was probably made a valid point. Like, look, these motherfuckers didn't like me from the first time I landed on that planet. They're gonna fucking kill me. They gotta go. Not saying it was right, but he was like, oh yeah, they gotta go. They're gonna fucking kill my ass. Nope. Mm-mm.
Yeah, they did
that. I know for a fact that they're gonna kill me eventually, especially since they love to fight so much, and we've been getting reports back that somehow they've been getting stronger. Now this is them still going off of Scouter rules. So they're still going off of the rules of the Scouter. They notice that their power has been increasing every time they fight. Every time Frieza sends them off on a mission, they come back and all of a sudden they look at them like, when the hell they get this damn strong?
Exactly. I think if we're going to see any expansive thing in the series, I think one of the things we'll see is Frieza seeing Prince Vegeta and going, that little kid's getting stronger, and he's already strong anyway.
Also, I never knew that I wanted a little Raditz and a little Vegeta fucking cracking wise and assholes. I didn't know these
niggas. Seeing Chibi Raditz made me say, we can do this. Give me some backstory, my nigga.
Yeah. No, but the fact that he just even as a kid, he was like, my brother was a low class Saiyan. Fuck him. I was like, damn.
I was trying to think of a joke and I couldn't think of it the whole time, man.
Now the funny thing about about Frieza and how he looked at the Saiyans, it's the same way that King Vegeta looked at Broly.
Yeah, and I think that's the irony.
Now you know the funny thing, the one thing I laughed at the most was how everybody was freaking out about how the story of the Saiyans was going to be completely retconned, because everybody assumed, because the trailer made it look that way, that Goku, Vegeta, and Broly were all born on the same day.
Yeah.
No,
but when that wasn't the case. Like, if anything, Vegeta and Broly were born on the same, or at least born at least they were born within the same year.
What was wild to me though was the fact that Bardock dropped that line about like Raditz working with Vegeta, and I was like, that's an interesting kind of dynamic, because now you're kind of positing that if this didn't happen with Frieza destroying it, Bardock and King Vegeta probably would have been like talking at some point.
Or because you see, but we see it for King Vegeta, and that's the one thing they kept with King Vegeta in these in both instances. He's an asshole.
Oh yeah. I don't want somebody stronger than my son. Even though he could have used Broly as he could have easily made Broly like his son's like fucking bodyguard or some shit, but nope, that's just too much sense.
Like nah, nah, bro. First of all, you a little too strong just to be a bodyguard for my son.
And on top of that, Eris, I go more with your irony. There was a chance if you kept Broly alive and kept him on that planet, he would have bounced that big ass ball right back at Frieza.
Ooh,
yeah. How awesome would that have been? You know what? Had he done that, and had he done that, damn, that means we would have never seen the awesomeness that is Bardock's last stand.
Or let's just be really honest with you, he kills Frieza. Just see credit.
No. Hold on. You gotta do the right ending. You gotta do the right victory song. He bounces that shit back and kills Frieza. Never surrender.
Credits.
I know look, I know you're gonna hit the Dynasty Warriors one that fucking Jim Sterling used. Here's
the thing though, D has a good point because here's the thing I love about backstories. What I love about the beginning of the movie when you see Frieza and his squad comes, I always wanted to see the dynamics between the Ginyu Force, Zarbon, and them with the Saiyans. Because they were talking shit about the Saiyans in front of them, and the Saiyans can't do shit about it. But there was at least one Saiyan that fucking, bitch slapped fucking Zarbon, and Zarbon had to fucking stab a motherfucker because he did that shit.
Actually, I will say this. I think the Saiyans did the most niggerish shit to him. And nothing went down because Frieza told him not to do shit. Was every time they see here come the Saiyans, and all of a sudden you just see a bunch of Saiyans walk off. A couple of them niggas shoulder block the fucking shit out of him, just bump the shit out. That nigga like fuck you. That happened every time.
Doria about to fucking mouth blast him.
Look, Zarbon didn't throw no hands. For a fact that Doria fought niggas, Of all the people, the Doria is the only one that got into a fight. The Ginyu Force didn't even do that shit. You know what the Ginyu Force did? The Ginyu Force did exactly this when it came to Frieza. Ginyu was like, Lord Frieza, you see the Saiyans? Frieza with a banana. I don't like that shit. I don't like that shit.
Definitely emphasize Frieza's...
Look, I'm gonna have to throw a motherfucking Planet Destroyer on them niggas. I don't like that shit.
I mean,
look, you hear Jace? Man, he a monkey. Man, he turned to a gorilla. I don't like that shit.
But see, here's the thing. What made it funny that I think because again we're majority black in the theater. I only saw maybe one or two white people in the theater. But there
was no white people there. It was an Asian dude and all the rest were black.
Now, here's the funny part. I think all of us had a collective laugh a little bit when Frieza just aired out monkey like it was nothing. I'm like, ooh, the racism just oozes out.
Did he say that the first time he met the Saiyans in Japanese? He said, yo, it was so funny because first he's like, here's my son, Frieza. Frieza steps up, monkeys! Everybody died because because you know what black people is? Niggers!
I mean, let's be real. I mean, that's why I kept saying we always go back to who was more of the black people, the fucking Nameks or the Saiyans, and it's like it's the Saiyans. I mean,
it's the Saiyans. The Saiyans are straight up black people. And the thing that kills me and it's great because it also establishes that Frieza is really Frieza, because this came up with somebody like who was the best villain, Frieza, Cell, or Boo. And I just got to say, without a doubt, is Frieza. Frieza, when you really look at it, kicked off all of Dragon Ball.
Mm-hmm. He did. That's what I'm saying. That's the argument that I always have to get into with my best friend because he hates Frieza for what he did. But I tell him all the time, yo, Frieza is like the greatest villain of all time. If it wasn't for Frieza, we wouldn't have Dragon Ball.
Because he's a person that believes his convictions. Basically.
I mean, and on top of that, Frieza was a straight up villain.
They ain't no sympathy behind that motherfucker. That's the thing. It's like there's none.
And it also, you know what? This movie did answer that one question I had after the Tournament of Power. So y'all just gonna let that nigga Frieza go? What type of shenanigans can he get into? And you see it off the break in this movie.
Oh yeah.
Because
hold on. Did you like how MCU they tied that shit?
Yep.
Right at the
because
right after the Tournament of Power, Broly, we get the story of Broly. This is on some Thor Ragnarok going straight into Infinity War.
It's like literally 2 days after the Tournament of Power, because even Vegeta was like, dog, we just finished the Tournament of Power. What the fuck are you talking about, dog? And again, Vegeta calling Goku a dumbass. I love it. It's like, you dumbass.
Oh. It's like this. Have you ever gone home to see your wife? Yeah, I did, Vegeta. Her vagina is this big now. And he puts up the Rockefeller sign.
But I'm saying, but just the overall fights and just everything, it worked because I think if you had a movie that was overfilled with Gohan, Krillin, 18, it would just been a cluttered mess. They would just been sitting there like, oh my god, this fight is crazy, and they've been probably fighting the fucking Frieza Force for no fucking reason and shit, and it'll been a mess.
Real talk. Earth, the freaking Z Fighters versus Frieza's army, that was legit cool.
Yeah, but not what in Resurrection?
Yeah, in Resurrection of Frieza,
it was cool. But if we got it again, we would have got it again. It would have been like, what's the point? Like, why? Like, because you would have took away from the Broly fucking Vegeta and Goku fight if they did that. And I think that's
But then again, CJC, that would have only happened had Broly had like Paragus had like some army. But then again, he did team up with Frieza, and Frieza always has pretty much a henchman from the planet Frieza for hire on speed dial.
You know what I mean?
I mean, look, Frieza's army wasn't necessarily a threat this time around, even though I felt in Resurrection of F he really didn't have a threat, but it was kind of whatever.
Yeah.
Anyways, yeah.
You know, the one that I will give this movie that it did something that all the Dragon Ball movie, the reason why I think we're praising this movie for what it is for a couple things. Not only is the movie correcting past errors in the story to make it smoother. Not only is it connected canon to the story, also it's long, it's explained, there's background, you get to flesh out a lot of shit. And then on top of that, this is probably some of the best fights you would ever see in all of Dragon Ball. I'm talking in complete history of Dragon Ball. It did 4 things correct. Something that we never see. This movie's almost 2 hours, by the way. Yeah. You don't feel it. You don't feel it until probably the very end. But even by the very end, it's like, this is a wonderful movie. So you don't really feel too much of it. So I think because this movie had more time, it got to do what it needed to do. It shouldn't feel, when you see a Dragon Ball movie, the one thing that always pisses me off is that it feels like just 2 episodes. You know what I mean? Yeah. Just feel like long ass episodes. You know what I mean?
And also going, not to cut you off, but going back to something else you said, CJ, like, it's not overrun with a whole bunch of characters that, again, add nothing to the plot. Yeah. If anything, they take away from the plot. And I'm glad they didn't do that this time around. Because, again, you did not need Krillin. You didn't need Gohan. You didn't need nobody.
Bulma served her purpose for a minute and then dipped.
Yeah, she was done. She was done.
Beerus didn't do nothing but get out my face.
No, that's what made it great. Bulma was like, hey, babysit, since you're going to chill here. All right, I guess. Fine. Whatever.
The whole entire time. You know, Bulma, after we see this fight, I do want another one of those wonderful Sundays that you make. This fight is entertaining, isn't it?
That's all you need. That's all you need. It's like everybody, even the 2 side characters that end up befriending Broly, they served a purpose, but they weren't a specter of the whole fucking movie. You know?
Oh, and I love that about I love that. I love that about them. Like, they actually served their purpose because they were, like, for one thing they were actually not bounty hunters, but they were like recruiters. They're recruiters for Frieza. And when they found Broly and they brought him to him, they said, "Hold up, we come to find out this guy's a Saiyan." Oh yeah, bruh, come on with it. Y'all coming back with us. Y'all coming with us to Frieza.
Y'all coming back with it. I just like the fact there was like when they got to the planet, here's Paragus. Help! Don't leave
I want to leave this planet. I want to leave this planet right now, please. Oh dear God, please.
Oh, and did you like? No, wait. And did you like how? Did you like how Paragus got tired of escort mission number 45 by executing homeboy that flew with him to find his son?
Bruh.
Yo, that was fucked up, man.
It was like, about that food situation. What?
Like, I love the fact that he found his son and said, "Okay, great, son. We can get out of here. We can go back home."
Hey,
but then come to find out, the spaceship don't work.
Hey, hey, I gotta be real about this. You know what his first mistake was, guys? He told Paragus his power level. See, he had leverage if you didn't tell him his power level. He had leverage a little bit. My power level's 300. Oh, really? Thanks for telling me that, buddy.
Interesting.
He really did. He just looked at him, nodded, and walked off.
Yo, the one other thing I have to mention, real talk. I know some people are gonna call it corny. Fuck you, but it is kind of corny. Yeah, Homegirl went a long way to get some of that Saiyan dick. I will say that.
You're assuming. Based on the fact
No, dude. First of all, you're assuming that she even got it in the first place.
Yeah, she
was going to get it because all she had to say, vagina, and here's Broly, and he's a Saiyan, so he's gonna hop right on that shit. Come on now.
First off, number one, we don't know if this chick is of age. First off, all right, we're in the era of R. Kelly, guys. We can't be sitting up there assuming this, all right, guys.
Hey, look. First of all, hey, CJ. First of all, I can't assume anything, especially when the animators can't even decide what age she should even look.
First off, they've been doing this since it's Dragon Ball, dog, guys. So I understand. I understand that completely.
And second of all, Chris, I think the great thespian Peter Griffin said it the best way. The fuck do you care? It's a cartoon.
No. I was just joking, but seriously though, all I'm saying is,
for real. Do you know it's hard to tell with anime? I know it is, dog, for real. But she did go a long way to try to get some, man. She was like,
"If we're gonna be real about this and stuff, it's like."
He's so tortured. His dad was an asshole. We need to do something about it. It was one of those things.
To which I'm like, to which I was surprised her homeboy didn't look at her like, so were you abused as a kid? Is this why you joined the Frieza Force?
You really passionate for this shit, baby. I'm not saying that we can't do it.
You know what? You know what? This is just again, this is asshole side of me saying this, and in typical women fashion, seriously. Women have always been the downfall of shit going wrong in movies. And this movie is no different.
Well, her heart was in the right place, if we're going to be fair. I get it.
No. There is no... I'm sorry. I spare no sympathy. None. Because she decided to play, hey, I'm going to be Little Miss Pickpocket, and I'm going to snatch that remote control from Paragus.
But Eris, we wouldn't have got the priceless look on Paragus' face when he tried to reach the remote.
Hilarious. I know we weren't going to get that. Go ahead.
I'm sorry. Oh, I say it was all fucking worth it for one thing. I got to see a first-person view of Goku catching hands. Fuck you.
Oh, no.
That was God's plan. That was God's plan right there.
Again, at the same time, I'm not saying the payoff that we got from that wasn't worth the wait, but we had to see the look on her face of, oh shit, I'm paying for the consequences of my actions of quote unquote freeing this dude that I was trying to get some from. So, So you know what that means, right? That means we're gonna play up all of this good action. We're gonna give the audience what they want for like the remaining hour and a half, and then we're gonna take a moment to do the right thing.
Yeah. And it was doing the right thing. You know, it was doing the right thing. It reminded me of that skit them two niggas did, where it was like Adam and Eve, and the snake was like, "You gonna let a man, a boy, a male, tell you what to do?"
I mean,
that's exactly what happened.
I would say ultimately, I am curious to see if they're gonna do like they did for Resurrection of Frieza and Power of the Gods, where they do like a TV show version of this.
They are. Yeah, they are.
Is that just a mandate? Because I'm really I'm not keen on them doing a TV show of it because it just feels like it's going to be overextended. But I get it. So I mean,
that's what it's going to be.
Is that just their mandate that they're just going to do from here on out?
Dude, hold on, dude. No, CJ, you got to understand something about Dragon Ball Super. Dragon Ball Super pretty much consists of the first two movies. I'm sorry, the first two movies. I know that,
but I'm saying I just thought with this one, since they were doing this as a way to introduce Broly, that when we got back to Super, this was their way of just kind of assimilating Broly and all this, and just being like, "Oh yeah, remember what happened in this movie?" And that was it. I didn't think they were to do it.
I really think they're going to expand on it, especially going back to that theory that me and D had about. Like 1 minute we see Kakarot fly off in his pod, and the next minute we see Bardock deciding to go ham with that freaking javelin shot.
So you really feel the TV show? Well, I mean, yeah, it is right because the TV show will give them a way to kind of expand on what happened on Namek. I'll say Namek, Planet Vegeta with everybody. So yeah, you're right.
I think it's just a thing. It is kind of interesting that anime is kind of trapped doing that. You could do a full-on original movie, but it's going to be callbacks to the actual series. So in a stupid kind of way, why just cut out the middleman and just make it canon?
So basically 9 episodes of Broly, essentially, kind of like the Frieza.
Actually, you're being nice. I think it's going to be 10 full episodes of the fight, but I think everything else around it is going to be the real important thing. That's where you start legit world building. You know what I mean? And it is a weird. I know it feels like another anime had to do this because it feels like, yeah, true. Why the first two movies were pretty much made to be on Dragon Ball Super going forward. They still had the whole series, the whole saga with Future Trunks. They still had the Tournament of Power. You know what I mean?
They're gonna throw in like original stories. They'll still throw that in, but like the main story is gonna be is gonna come from the movies as a base. Now, the other thing that's gonna come after they're done like introducing Broly into Dragon Ball Super as the TV series, the next arc that they're gonna do is they're gonna bring in the characters from Dragon Ball Heroes.
Oh yeah, I heard about it, but I don't know nothing of it. You know, I just got to be honest with you. I heard
trust me, I see that game every day, and they even take the time to like animate like full on cutscenes. Kind of like how they did. What was it? The plan to eradicate the Saiyans. Like part of that was like video game, and the other part of it was full on animation. Yeah, they do that same thing with that game, and that's a freaking card battle game.
You know, there are people that actually swear by that shit, man. That's canon, man. No, it ain't.
Anyways, folks, yeah, definitely go see Dragon Ball.
Whoa, hold on. We still tell yes, by all means, please go see this movie. Can I mention that we got to see Gold, which was the return of Gogeta?
Yeah. See, that's the thing. I don't want to go deep into it, but I will say, seeing it, I figured that was going to be the next step anyways of happening. Because as Goku pointed out, I mean, shit, we had the earrings and win it, so why not do this again? I'm like, yeah, he has a point.
Well, I got spoiled because every time I go to the arcade, they have those little crane games. And inside the crane games was a whole bunch of Dragon Ball Super stuff. It's okay, I see Goku blue, I see Vegeta blue. There's the new Broly. That's awesome. And then I see Gogeta. And once I saw Gogeta blue, I'm like, oh, he's gonna be in the movie.
So stuff like that doesn't really piss me off because I'm all about seeing how we get to that point and what's the result. Because, you know, I mean, it's kind of like how everybody's freaking about the Spider-Man movie. I'm like, hey guys, I'd rather see how we got to this point and what actually affected it versus just saying I got spoiled and shit. So it's like, I get it because, you know, I know a lot of people, including Niger, was telling me that they were trying to avoid trailers and stuff, and that's very 100% understandable and stuff. But I know where you're at, it's like it's kind of hard to avoid that because
it's extremely hard to avoid because God, when they were promoting this movie, they promoted. I haven't seen promotion done like this honestly since Battle of the Gods. But it wasn't necessarily done at the same level of Battle of the Gods, because good God, when Battle of the Gods came out, they had Dragon Ball everywhere. And that's where you guys got those Dragon Ball KFC posters that I sent y'all.
Yeah.
I still have the KFC cup.
And not only that, they had like all the convenience stores were in on it. They had Colonel Sanders dressed up as Goku. The shit was crazy.
I'm just laughing at the fact that like Dragon Ball Super Broly is doing like crazy well here. Like it's already at like 67 million worldwide now.
Get the fuck out of here! Mm-hmm. Really?
10 million in the U.S. so far, and 57 million in foreign market. Which
I'm gonna say, didn't it do like?
It did 5 million on Wednesday.
That's what I was gonna say. I'm talking about like opening day. Like didn't it do
million.
Like
5 million.
Okay, it did. So it did like 5 million opening day. It already did like I think maybe 2 or 3 billion yen over here.
5 million on Wednesday. Thursday, it actually opened close behind Glass. Glass opened at 3.7 million on Thursday, but Broly opened at 3.3 million. I'm like, holy shit! I wonder what it's going to do this weekend.
I think Fox is going to be thoroughly surprised how much Dragon Ball is going to rake in.
Can you imagine Monday morning after Martin Luther King holiday? In shocking news, in the top 5, Dragon Ball Super Broly opened in second place behind Glass.
Why would you then put in because we got it from the horse's mouth? Goku himself, Sean Schimmel, told us that black people watch Dragon Ball like a motherfucker. So why would you then
it's the three.
You have a King holiday
the three. First of all, it is the 3 tiers of Dragon Ball watchers: black people, Hispanic, and military.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
you put it on it like you said, MLK holiday, so you know motherfuckers are gonna go see this shit. Like, hey, I gotta take my kids to see this shit.
You do know that this movie probably would have done like damn near. Well, I would say the anime equivalent of Black Panther numbers if this came out in February.
Nigga.
Actually, the shit that had me laughing. I know for a lot of people, if you go back with Dragon Ball and all the rest of that, I'm talking about everybody that saw Dragon Ball during its heyday. If you've been seeing it, I mean, at least in its American heyday during the late 90s into the 2000s, to see it on the big screen is going to be surreal for a lot of people. Seeing the Toei logo is going to be surreal for you. Mm-hmm. But you know what got me? Like, I forget. 20th Century Fox have had the rights to Dragon Ball since 2000. Yep. They were ready for this shit.
Apparently, it opening the 5 million weekend is the highest grossing anime opening day since Pokemon the first movie.
I believe
nice. It. You know, God. As a matter of fact, I want to ask y'all about this because they done this in Dragon Ball Super for like the regular TV show. But how did y'all feel hearing the Broly song with lyrics?
Joe, it was like I didn't do it while I was in the movie theater, Chris. But I wanted to lean over you. Dishy, basara, basara, dishy, basara. It was just the Dragon Ball version of that. Broly. I was like, I got to hear that whole song to see how it sounds. You know what I mean?
To this day, I'm still shocked because I was looking at the box office for the anime movies, and you know, Pokemon the first movie still tops out at close to 100 million.
You gotta think about that. That shit was huge, bro.
But I'm still shocked that in third place because I think it was Pokemon the first movie in 2000 got the top 2, which is because it's Pokemon. Yu-Gi-Oh! The movie shockingly actually made a lot of money here. That shocked the fucking shit out of me. I was like, really, Yu-Gi-Oh!
Wait a minute, how much did it make?
It ain't 85 million. It made like 20 million.
I believe that.
Well, you know,
I believe that.
I think this might be another year for anime, well, if anything, for anime movies, because seeing that it is 2019, you know what I'd like to see? I would like to see a full I'm talking about actual theatrical release of Akira.
I would love to see them. I'm surprised Phantom hasn't done that.
I think they have done it, but they did it right around.
I know they
did it right around the time when they redid the dub with Johnny on Bosch and shit. That was like years ago.
That was years ago.
Yeah,
man.
but seeing how that we are at 20, like I said, we're at 2019, which is where the movie takes place.
Oh, that needs to happen.
Yeah. And on top of that, you got the Olympics. The Olympics is next year.
Yeah, they can do it if they wanted to.
And it was going to be. No, the best part about that, it was going to be during the following year. You remember, it was the same thing in the movie. That the Olympics was going to be there in Japan. That's fucking freaky. But yeah,
that was freaky.
Yeah, if you guys had to give this a grade on our scale, would you give it?
Much like the Justice League movie, don't listen to me when I say this. 10 out of 10. Don't listen to me.
I give it 10 out of 10 too. I mean, it's fucking.
It's really hard to not say this is perfect. But here's the problem, because all three of us are Dragon Ball fans, so it's really hard. Come on, our biggest draws when it comes to us on with Three Black Geeks is our Dragon Ball episodes. People love them shits, and because we have so much passion for that shit. So it's really, what was you going to get a week? You thought we was going to be objective over this shit?
I mean,
I'm objective asshole. Even the most objective asshole Dragon Ball fan will still give this an 8 out of 10.
I'm objective enough to say it's better than the other previous Broly movies.
Oh, by far.
Look, if you're a person that loves those movies, CJ, I get it. I'm fine. Look, I'm cool.
CJ, the bar isn't that high.
It
I feel this movie, it's like, and maybe because Toriyama had a hand in it and stuff, it actually told a story you actually fucking cared. It wasn't just some throwaway story and it was like whatever. It was like, oh, I actually am invested in why this is happening. All right, cool.
Again, I say that benefits on the fact that the movie was kind of long. It had time to build shit. So that's the reason why.
If I'm not mistaken, this was probably the second longest movie next to Dragon Fist.
Yep.
Oh yeah, it was.
Dragon Fist was just long for no fucking
I don't know
reason.
how long was Battle of the Gods.
Battle of the Gods was shorter than
Yeah,
this.
it was short.
I know it was.
Yeah, it was straight to the point. Like, oh yeah, they got to fight Beerus. All right, cool.
Now, if I were to give my points on it, seeing how I did see this movie a month earlier, I'm not going to give it a 10 out of 10. I am going to give it a 9.
Yeah, that's fine. That works.
And my reason to give it a 9 is, for one, the fluctuation of the animation was just it was jarring. It was very jarring.
Look, and here's the thing. Like I said, it's not even a shonen thing. Anime has done this for the last 10 or so years, and I get it. You have different studios that draw it, and I get it. Sometimes I just want to know. It's just real talk. Why has the quality have gone down in anime the last 10 or so years? You notice that, Eris? Like
I already got the answer. No, and I already got the answer. I got the answer for that, dude.
Yeah, because that kills me. Because you will see some scenes in all the like. Good example was in the same episode where Goku did his Tony Hawk Kamehameha to Kefla. In that same episode, it looked shitty in the beginning. Mm-hmm. You will see all this amazing anime, and it gets dumb. I hate that, man.
Now my answer to that is why is this still a thing? And quite simply because I don't get why do they have different animators on staff, because everybody's got their own different style of drawing. Going back to Akira, you don't see fluctuating animation cells in that movie.
Not at all.
Or any of the movies from I won't say any, but any of the high budget movies from the 80s and the 80s and the 90s. And you gotta think, there was no computers. There was no CG animation back then. That shit, the passion of hand drawing every single frame and keeping that shit on point was amazing back in those days.
Exactly.
And we don't have that anymore.
And because here's a funny thing, as gorgeous I thought a couple of scenes in this movie was, and actually in all movies, it's funny, I was talking to somebody about, oh man, Spirited Away is such a beautiful movie. Spirited Away can't touch the opening scene of Akira where they ride on the bikes. Just off of the animation alone, it doesn't touch it.
Hell, you want to talk about great openings? You talking about the opening scene of Akira where they're riding on the bikes? How about the freaking bridge fight from Ninja Scroll? How about?
Look, it's kind of funny. That's where it gets subjective for me.
I'm talking about the bridge fight, the fight on the bridge, the very opening first 2 minutes of Akira.
That's what he's talking about. This. Ninja. Oh yeah. You're right.
I still stand by that. I think that's subjective. I think it's a cool scene. Don't get me wrong. I can't. It's funny. As much as I thought the animation in Ninja Scroll was good, it felt kind of square. That's the best way I can. And I'm not talking about. I think it
was more of a color thing.
I think it was a color thing, and I also think it's just the way everybody's face was kind of animated to be like this hard look. And I got the point of the animation. Don't get me wrong. It's just I can't agree with you. I will say this. The opening scene of Ghost in the Shell where she jumps away.
I was just about to mention that. I was just going to mention that one. I was going to say the opening shot of Motoko jumping off the building and Ghost in the Shell.
Yeah, you'll have these. Now, there's only one scene that I thought was great. It threw me off, but I thought it was great. You remember when Gogeta and Broly were fighting and they broke reality?
Oh, you mean like pretty much how they did the anime equivalent of Thanos versus Doctor Strange?
Yeah,
Mirror World, yay!
Now hold on. Najir did point something out to me. He said you've seen that same type of thing happen during the Tournament of Power.
Yep.
Broly may have done something they may have done something that we're going to see later on down the line in Dragon Ball with that. Maybe we'll see. So yeah, I just had to throw that out.
But anyways, yeah, go see the movie and definitely check it out. So, guess that's it. So,
yeah, that's it.
Yeah, so we'll catch you guys later. Peace out.
Deuces.
Yeah.